Hey guys, just here to do a tattoo progress update today. Where I last left off, I had a big tentacle done, and I had just started off a little bit of my first ever red over black work. And I'm proud to say that healed amazingly well. It healed better than the white ink moon. So that's one pass, right? One pass of red over the spider eyes that I did was a lot redder than the white was white. So we filled the rest of it. This is the healed one. These two little ones right here are the healed ones. Oh, sorry. It's on this side. Yeah. So these guys are healed, and they're still red. So we went ahead and did the other ones. So super happy with how they turned out, and I'm really happy we went with the red instead of the white. And I'm happy that we took that chance because, well, like everything right now that we're doing, it certainly wasn't a guarantee. But I think that once these are settled, they're going to be way cooler. We may do one more pass in them eventually. We talked about hitting them again once they're fully healed. Sorry, messing with the camera. Just to kind of make them really, really solid. And when we do that, we're going to touch up the black as well, because there's some spots that could still be darker in the black of the eyes. So I'll show off the healed tentacle from last week. So we did this big guy here last time, and he's healed now. So again, super happy with how that worked out. Everything is basically healing the same as it looks day one, except it's a little less shiny. That's been the overall takeaway from the black on black. We also got this little guy out of the way here. So now both of those guys are done, and I'll expect this to be pretty much in line with the rest of the tentacles once I'm finished healing it. Next week we're going to be doing this one here. This guy here will be the next one to go. And the following week, we'll be hitting this one finally. I have a bit of a mark here from a bandage that I was wearing last week that's got to heal anyway. So it's a good thing we're not working on this one right away. Sometimes the adhesive is pretty strong, and when you pull it off, it can kind of create a bit of a blistering effect. But yeah, we'll be working on this guy. I cannot wait to get these tentacles done. The ones on my stomach. These are the ones I've been waiting for all along. I think they're really, really going to make a huge difference to this project overall. Ever since we lined all the tentacles out, those were the ones that I wanted to be working on. It made sense the way that we were progressing not to do those ones first. We wanted to start on the side and work towards the center. But those were always like the really, really rewarding looking tentacles for me, because they're right at the forefront. Obviously, I'm going to see them the most. Obviously, if I post, say, like a topless photo or if I take a topless picture of my work, you're going to see those ones a lot easier than you're going to see the ones on the side. And I think it's just going to make a lot more sense to people, kind of what the goal here is. We did talk about, because we're coming right up on it, and we're working at a fast right now, we did talk about our next step after those two tentacles are out of the way. We're going to be hitting the center of the eye here. We're going to be texturing it. I'm not exactly sure what he has in mind, but Rick wants to create texture in the middle of the eye to make it not so flat, because right now it's pretty flat. There was at one point, in my old suit, there was a keyhole fitted to the size of this key on my chest. But obviously that's been blacked out for a long time, and I've been leaving it blank for a long time because I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do with it. But I always knew something was going to happen in the center of the eye. And now Rick has an idea for it. So whatever the hell he wants to do with it, I'll trust him at this point, obviously. I'm not sure what we'll be doing with it, so I'm as excited as anyone else might be to figure that out. But yeah, so we'll do that. That'll be probably the third session from now, and then we're finally going to circle back to the belly button in this area here. And then some other places that I'm looking at that look particularly blank are like inside around the armpits and up in this chest area. I kind of want to do some stuff in here next after that. So I don't know what we're going to do quite yet, but that's where I want to head next. Yeah, lots of potential now. Once we seen that the red healed on these eyes, that kind of opened up a whole like kettle of fish for me, or a can of worms for me, where I already had lots of ideas about things that I could do, and now I have even more. And it's really a really good thing that I waited to do my shoulders and my arms and stuff until after I'd already done my torso, because where the torso is like kind of a long project and you can develop your ideas as you go to some extent as you're lining things and all that. Your sleeves are a lot less, they don't take as long, essentially, is what I want to say. And there isn't quite as much real estate there. There is a lot of real estate in a sleeve, but it's not the same as your torso. You don't really approach a sleeve from the same mindset as a torso either, from a layout standpoint, typically. So when I get to hitting my sleeves, which I would imagine will either be late this year or early next year, in either case, that's perfectly fine by me. I'm thinking about all different ways I can incorporate a little bit of color into my Blackout suit. But more particularly, I think just red. I never really had much else anyway in my old suit. And that was for a reason. The only color that I really wanted, other than purple, which is, I don't think we could do purple anyway. I mean, in saying that, I didn't think we could do red a little while ago, but I think red as an accent to the black will be really cool. And so far, as I said, the red highlights have worked better than the white highlights. So again, contrary to what we're being told and what we're seeing on social media and stuff, is that white ink is the most popular thing to do over blackouts online. That's all you see generally, to the point where people are always telling me, why did you do that stuff with black ink? It would have looked sharper and more crisp with white, which is not true, by the way. But that's the mindset online, is white ink over black is like, it's trendy. It's caught on. People like it, right? But what I've seen is, out of the three things I've tried, white ink has been the least effective over black. Over a dark black even. Black holds up better. Red holds up better. I'm starting to think that white might actually be the least effective over black, which does make sense from a classic mindset, because you would think that to cover dark, you need to go darker. And light or white is the lightest, so you would think that it would be the least successful. I don't know why, if it's just because it has such a high contrast to black that it became such a focal point of blackout tattooing. But when I got this red in, and when it healed, all I could think was, how come people haven't done this then? How come you don't see this all the time? I have seen some color over black. But whenever you see it, it's always marred with comments like, that will never stay. That's gotta be just day one. Or that's photoshopped or something. So like, it's never accepted. Yet somehow white over black has started to become accepted. I just don't know how Rick and I did this. We didn't do any magic. We just put it in like a normal tattoo, and it went. And my chest is one of the darkest spots on me, and it just went in. I just don't understand why there hasn't been more experimentation or documentation of this stuff done. Because you would think that you would want to know that what your options were. Like, I figured this kind of work could really destroy the laser industry, in all honesty, because why bother lasering work to get a color piece over it if you could just black it out and then do color over it? I mean, I'm not saying that it's easy, but it kind of does raise that question of, is there anything that won't go? like, I'm starting to wonder if there's anything that I can't get to go over. Like, I'm in a world now, mentally anyway, my imagination is stretching to a point where I don't know if there are limits other than the ones that we think there are, because all we did was put a light red over a black. That's it. And it stayed. It wasn't like we used a magic trick or something. So I think that these vlogs that I was doing for a little while, they felt a bit aimless to me. But I'm starting to see that this information needs to be communicated. And I'm sad that it wasn't before this. And I'm also a little bit disappointed again in the tattoo world that this hasn't been more understood or communicated. Because I know we can't be the first ones that have done this. But if I were to tell people what we just did without them seeing the proof of it right here, and what they'll see on Instagram when I post these images, they would either say I was lying or it's not going to stay or anything like that, when I have proof already that it will. So now, obviously, it's only been a week, but the red is there more in the first week than the white was. And it's there arguably better than the black was, too. The black over black, even. So I have every reason to assume that even if it does fade a bit over time, it's going to be more punchy and upfront than any of the other stuff I've done over black so far. And I don't actually want the red to be that bright anyway. When I first seen them after we finished these the other day, I thought, oh wow, that's a change. Like, I've been used to seeing nothing but dark, and now I've got color on me, and it's quite bright. Like, it's more red than the red touch-ups, or sorry, not touch-ups, the red touches in my chest. It's as red as the eye, or redder. So it's not just a little red. So, like, say it does fade, I'm cool with that reality, because I don't really want super, super bright tattoos, which is why some people will be thinking, oh, you're going to overdo it, and then you're going to black it all out again. And that's probably a fair thing to think if you know me, but that's where I think that for me, I need to keep this sparing. But it is interesting for some other people out there who might be watching this who have, say, a black sleeve, and they might want to do like a color flower piece or like a color piece in general. I don't know, like a trad piece or something. I've already shown that you can line out pieces, you can fill black, and now I'm showing that you can use color too. So I think that this is valuable information to get out there and make people aware of just exactly how much is possible. Because my God, that is silly levels of red. That should not be that way. Anyway, I know I'm a little like gung-ho. I'm a little, sorry, camera issues here. I'm a little bit over the moon on this. Just not even just for the sake of the tattoo, but just for the sake of the possibilities of what we've uncovered with this. It opens up a lot of options for me to play around even more than I already had. And I kind of feel like every session that I'm having is a little bit like that. Like, this is the most interesting part of my tattoo work. Crazy to think that in almost 1,000 hours, I'm getting to a new realm of fun or experimentation with this. It's such a late date in my tattooing. I'm almost like starting over and with fresh eyes or new excitement, a whole new nostalgia would be a good way to put it. And I would have figured that by now I would have seen and done it all, kind of thing. But it turns out there's layers to this, and who knows how deep it goes. Anyway, I'll stop ranting. I'll be back here next time, but hopefully with another tattoo update. I believe I'm getting more work done this week coming. And so I'll be showing that off, plus how the red healed. And I'll talk to you guys soon.